Magna Carta. Feels big, doesn't it? Feels good. Magna Carta. How you doing? Magna Carta? Magna Carta. Of course it is. It feels big. It feels right, doesn't it? It's important. It's important, Magna Carta. You know, it's important for all the, that it represents, isn't it? All the magna that you can stick on your carta. It's good. It's a good thing, isn't it? I mean, it stands for quintessential, stuff. What does it? I don't know. All right, I've seen it. I've been to Salisbury Cathedral. It's a beautiful old document, beautiful old Latin document. Again, there it is, happily enshrining away our rights, probably. We all love Magna Carta, don't we? I mean, we're all constitutional historians here. There's nothing we love better than getting around the pub of an evening to discuss who'd win in a straight fight between the Declaration of Arbroath and Magna Carta. It is a worrying one. David Cameron is very keen for us to have a little party to celebrate old Magsy C. And it's hard to kind of fathom why. Because, of course, it's a document that was written... you start criticising Magna Carta, see what happens. That's right, take away the truth-tellers. I'll see you in Salisbury Cathedral, my friend. It's a difficult one. There are two things everybody remembers about Magna Carta, right? It enshrines our basic rights as free men and of course, our rights to a trial by jury. But of course, the thing about all these rights that we assume are enshrined is we have to remember that Magna Carta was signed by King John, who is a dubious figure in history at best. My earliest researches indicated that he may have been a cowardly cartoon lion with a voice of Peter Houston. Although later sources have contradicted that. But all the same, all Magna Carta is the barons, a super rich group of specialised interests putting pressure on a single legislative body. It's very hard to imagine how that could happen in the modern world. But it's very hard to imagine how they would have any interest in the rights of the common man. And yet David Cameron is very keen for us to have a party, which is odd, because I don't really want to celebrate King John. King John, of course, is famously, he had a couple of nicknames, which is nice. He was known as Lackland, John Lackland, for his ability to lose territory in wars, and as Soft Sword, like your father's penis. The two things people would tell you about Magna Carta is that it enshrines our basic rights, and it also protects our right to a trial by a jury of our peers. Now, I don't know if anybody has been in court recently. No, thought not. North London, artsy audience. It'd be parking fines, or as a character witness for Julian Assange. But if you have been in court recently, you'll know that most trials don't have a jury. Our right to a trial by jury isn't enshrined because most of us don't get one. And again, yet you think the footprint of this enshrining our rights so heartily, it must be a big deal. So I asked a lawyer friend of mine, how many times has Magna Carta been cited in English case law? Well, you might want to write this down in case it comes up in the pub quiz later. Because the answer is no times. 0 occasions has Magna Carta been cited in English case law. And yet David Cameron wants us to have a party to celebrate it. To remember the fact that our human rights are A-OK, that everything has been absolutely fine for 800 years. And we shouldn't bother ourselves with thinking about that rubbish old 1998 Human Rights Act, because that was written by a bunch of out-of-touch elitist French speakers. Whereas we've got Magna Carta. It was written by out-of-touch elitist French speakers 800 years ago and is therefore better. But of course King John himself didn't even honour Magna Carta. He wriggled out of it like the oleaginous little worm that he was. He wriggled out of it in 3 months after it was signed. So Magna Carta is a document that is now a defunct piece of law that has been invalid for 799 years. And also, I think the one person that we shouldn't be listening to if we're being told, oh, why don't you have a lovely celebration of your human rights being intact? We shouldn't be listening to the head of government. That is not the voice that I want to hear coming down to me saying, dance, dance for you are free, says the Prime Minister. But again, the medieval period is throwing up these wonderful dates that we're being asked to celebrate. 1265 is another date we're being asked to celebrate. And that's the point in the story in which a lovely little character called Simon de Montfort waltzes into our narrative. Because little Cy there, he's present at the siege of Toulouse. Sounds like a tough battle to win, I know. It's not worth it, that one, is it? He's there with his mother as his father is busy massacring the Cathars. Sometimes it's nice to do things as a family. And his father is saying something to him like, one day, son, you'll be massacring, committing genocidal atrocities, much the same as this. I know I am also a French-speaking nobleman, but Mike has a limited palette of accents available. And at that moment, Simon de Montfort Sr. is killed when a boulder fired by a catapult crushes his head. In one of the most beautifully Pythonesque moments in medieval history. Now I don't know what impact that had on the young Simon de Montfort, but he will go on later to defy a king, to defy Henry III, and call the first Parliament without the authority of the monarch. And he calls representatives from the towns and boroughs to the beginnings of the House of Commons. And yet, little Simon de Montfort is killed at the Battle of Evesham shortly afterwards. His Parliament achieves absolutely nothing. I don't know why we're being asked to celebrate his achievements as if he achieved anything at all. Amongst his other achievements, he's famous for expelling the Jews from Leicester. His dad must have been so proud. And yet, we're kind of given this idea of continuity, the idea that everything's been fine for 750 years, that everything's been rolling towards this status quo that we mustn't argue with. And it's kind of troubling. And again, that name of Simon de Montfort is remembered still in English public life. It's remembered in the university which took his name, De Montfort University, still now regarded in English academia as one of the top 5 universities in the Leicester area. I know it's difficult.